Hello. Before this video starts, I want to let you know, as a disclaimer, that I'm going to be mumbling, apparently. Really, because I've been stuttering on my words a lot, just over my lips. My lips are my worst enemy, apparently, since I just can't go 2 sentences without mumbling over a word, or being able to say the word memorial. Like, I could say memorial like this, but then the moment I try to go ahead and say it in the video, I'll just stutter over it. And there was one time I said memorial in the video in which I just completely messed it up for like a second or two. It just sucks. It just sucks being the kind of person that knew a lot about history and knew a lot about certain things and is able to speak confidently, but then I grew out to be the kind of person whose lips can't even let him say a word with two M's in it. It's pretty pitiful. And then hopefully you enjoyed this video. And this video is not meant to present any political narrative. It's not meant to assert any historical sentiment. It's not meant to be a downer video, which it's depressing as all hell. Where you can't even enjoy Memorial Day. This video is not meant for that. It's just me having something to talk about. Talk about Memorial Day and the fact that it can be controversial, but ultimately is a holiday that you have a right to enjoy, considering it celebrates something good. The idea that people willingly die for a country that tries its very best to uphold its principles. So ultimately, disclaimer end there. Enjoy the video. Happy Memorial Day, dear viewer. It is really a day, especially since it's meant to honor those who have died in service of our country, paying the ultimate price for these United States. Let's get into the history, since that does lead into anything else. Memorial Day was officially observed in 1868. 20,000 soldiers from both the Union and Confederate sides would be commemorated and have their graves decorated. 5,000 people partook in these decorations. Now, this is not the first celebration that can be considered Memorial Day. It's just the first one that is named Memorial Day that represents it. 1865, the first day of May, saw freed slaves giving tribute and burials to fallen Union soldiers. And then 8 years later, in 1873, it became a legalized holiday in New York State, which is where I'm from, personally. And then other states follow. The day before the first Memorial Day did see some decorations of the burials of fallen soldiers, and this is why they were called Decoration Day, since, well, you were decorating graves. The first Memorial Day was a decoration day, since that is what Memorial Day was about back then. Just giving flowers or anything that looked decorative upon the graves of soldiers that had passed. It's not exactly surprising how holding memory of someone's brave sacrifice and appreciating said brave sacrifice includes decorating their remnants and decorating their memory. Decorating, again, just meant placing flowers or any other decorations, though the former was most popular. Around World War I, this cemented itself as a federal tradition, and this became legally recognized as a national holiday in 1971. So throughout World War I in 1971, it did take time to officially be recognized legally, though civilly it was recognized as a tradition for honoring any soldier that passed. Modern-day celebrations include attending ceremonies or cemeteries holding dead soldiers. Cemeteries and ceremonies are not the same thing, by the way. Gatherings, memorials, and even parades for dead soldiers. Memorial Day is legally recognized to be the last Monday of the month of May, which as of 2026, the year I'm making this video, is tomorrow for me, the 25th of May. Enough about the history, though. Let's talk about something that I can't just take from 3 articles that I can interpret the details of, so I can then source in the comments. What I'm about to say next cannot be interpreted from those 3 articles. This is about whether Memorial Day can be controversial. And yes, it can be very controversial. Firstly, the United States isn't the greatest country in the whole wide world, contrary to some who still genuinely believe that in modern day. The United States is riddled with having done so much wrong in its past. Think the Trail of Tears, in which 60,000 natives were forced out of their own land. The culture of the United States making it so anyone that didn't fit their image of being white had been seen as inferior, to the point where things like the Tuskegee syphilis study, in which 400 African American patients with syphilis weren't given the proper care and were treated like literal lab rats so that more discoveries could be made about syphilis. And then even when there was actual medicine for syphilis or actual health care that could be given, the patients weren't really given that. And then there's the Chinese Exclusion Act, which saw anyone of Chinese lineage or migrating from China having the hardest time of all that they had any time at all to migrate to the United States. And then the eradication of an animal that Native Americans absolutely relied on for daily life, that being the buffalo, since they used every single part of the buffalo, including the skin, including the flesh, including the organs, anything. They used it, including the bones. So that meant that they could get a lot from one animal. And eradicating said animals as a species just makes that so much harder to do, especially because it was ignorant overhunting. Like, they could have genuinely decided not to do that, but then they did anyways. Then following that with discrimination in the United States Army itself. That's why things like the Tuskegee Airmen existed. People like Tuskegee Airmen existed, not things. Tuskegee Airmen were essentially this African American exclusive squadron of airmen that, as you can probably tell, played a big role, because they're even able to be named today, in terms of dispelling discrimination in the Army. Cowboy, if anyone knows a cowboy, we all know what a cowboy is. Who am I kidding? We've seen at least a cowboy or Wild West movie. The word cowboy thrown around, even though that is actually an insult for African Americans in the Wild West. Meanwhile, there was another word for quote-unquote cowboys that weren't African American and were actual people. Cow hands, I think. That's not really true, is it? Cow hands. Let's just say that. It wasn't the word cowboy, but cowboy was an insult. Alongside all of this, being proof that the United States has a controversial history in terms of being a country that's worth defending via soldiers. Search up any modern day events that have gone on in the United States history. Invasion of Afghanistan, that one can be justified. But other than that, not really much. The only things that really save the United States reputation, the only thing that saves the United States reputationally, sorry about that, will be World War II and then the Cold War. Not even the Cold War either, since America propped up many South American regimes. Any contemporary or modern day events, modern day as in past the year 2000, might also just search it up, especially right now in this decade, the 2020s. Might also just watch any unbiased news, any news channel about what's going on, and you'll know what I'm talking about. Including putting all this together doesn't exactly present the United States in a very good image. It doesn't give it the best image of all time. It doesn't even exactly make it seem like the United States is a redeemable country. It doesn't make it seem honorable to willingly serve a country like that. But Memorial Day is not for the United States, but what it is for the soldiers, the people who made the ultimate sacrifice of dying in their life, therefore, in turn for protecting this country. They fought for a tomorrow that we could all experience in return for sacrificing their own tomorrow. They sacrificed the idea that if for a man soldier there would be a father or a husband, and for a girl fighting in the United States, they could be a wife or a mother or anything they want to be. They sacrifice their passions and their lives to fight for the United States. And no matter how bad the United States is, every country's done something wrong, right? Let's not pretend as if what I said before makes it so that I hate the United States. In fact, I love the United States. I love America. I love the idea that our history can have so much wrong, yet we can still come to the conclusion that this country is young and it still has so much to do, so much to last through. And it's already done that, to be honest. It has lasted throughout so much thanks to its veterans. Well, like the American Revolutionary War, the War of 1812, the American Civil War. Hell, any war over overseas territories like the Spanish-American War for Cuba and Puerto Rico and all those countries, the Mexican-American War, the American Civil War, World War I, any wars in between for that and World War One, that and World War II, then the Cold War, and then modern day. It has survived. The United States has survived so much that is genuinely crazy. How such a country with such a bad history can still be respected for the fact it's done all that. The United States' history is bipolar as all hell. It has done so much wrong, so much discrimination, so much genocide, so much evil, so much hypocrisy, and yet between all of that is the fact that it's done so much good and prides itself on the idea that you can do anything. Hell, the fact I'm even allowed to criticize the United States at all. Well, that is just proof that is a right that I don't really get in certain countries like China, Even though you can't say some things in China, you can't exactly say everything. Hell, I don't even think you can criticize your own country. And honestly, forget what I was about to say. You can criticize your country pretty much anywhere. But the fact that I can even do that is proof that this country's doing something right. But even though the United States is having a horrible track record this year, it's just proof that overall we need to learn that our history shouldn't be used to present some image or narrative that any country is just horrible, horrible thing. Especially for Memorial Day, I'm not sure how this became a goddamn history lesson and then a monologue. I don't know how it became that, but that's just how it is in terms of my videos apparently. Again, just think about Memorial Day as this day where you're celebrating people, where you're celebrating soldiers that died for this country to be better, died for this country, and for its people to have a tomorrow to look forward to. Considering if we didn't, because we've done a lot of bad things, but against countries that have done way worse things. We've done bad things against the worst countries, let's just say. And so the idea that Memorial Day is something that you don't have to celebrate or even respect is a right that you have and you're entitled to. But ultimately, it's like we should realize that if we don't honor our soldiers, they would rightfully not want to fight for us, and they wouldn't fight for us. This country wouldn't have lasted anywhere near as long as it has today. So remember, if you decide to have a Memorial Day celebration, good on you. And if you're someone in a military family, a shout out to you and whoever in your family is a part of the military. Shout out to them. I pledge all my respects to them. I really, really hope they continue serving as long as they can. I really, really hope they go appreciated in this country, appreciated in wherever they serve, and I'll pretty much see you later.